Yes, people, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Stop Lounge. This is episode number 37, and as always, we are your host, Yana Malcolm. How are you, bro? All good?
I'm alright, bro. Thank you very much. Of a new week, a beginning of a pretty hectic week. But before we start this week, thankfully, last week it was alright. I went out a bit on the weekend, met up with a friend of mine that I haven't seen for a long time. Prior to that, I got to witness these chumps losing a European Cup
Oh, no,
final.
let's just
Same
don't
as
get into
you.
that, bro.
Same as you. Last game of the season was yesterday. Thank God the season's over. We can have the summer of Formula One to look forward to now. Other than that, I'm alright, bro. How are you? You good?
Yeah, all good, bro. Not gonna mention my football team at all because I don't want to open any books with that. With regards to that, last week as a 26-year-old, because today week is my birthday. I'm turning 27, so making the most out of my final week as a 26-year-old.
Them
What?
grey hairs are getting closer and closer.
No,
Hey, me too.
let's
Me
not.
too. Me
Yo,
too.
man, let's not jump straight into that bit right now. Let's just not jump into the white hair. I want to remain young, and I'm still young right
Don't
now.
we all? Don't we all want to
Yeah.
remain young? Don't we all,
Yeah,
man?
no, but jokes aside, guys. On that, feeling great so far. Pretty busy. Last week was pretty busy. Not gonna lie, but this week have some pretty interesting plans coming up with regards to my upcoming trips as well, and also content-wise. Have also a couple of exciting opportunities coming up next couple of weeks, so really looking forward to that. And also Formula One, second back-to-back race, second race in a row, because obviously right now we are in the European triple header section of the Formula One season. We've had Imola last weekend, Monaco during this past weekend, and this week we also have Catalonia coming up, guys.
Let's
And
go.
today we're going to be talking about the Monaco Grand Prix last weekend. And before we get into that, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, we are the Stop Lounge, a podcast solely rated on Formula One, what happens on the racetrack, on the paddock, and outside of it. We talk news. We review Grand Prix weekends. We talk about also news off the track as well. So if this is your first time listening to this podcast, make sure to follow us on our socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and for our listeners on Spotify, help us out with that rating, hit that like, comment, and also subscribe if you want to see more of this content. And also on Spotify, guys, we publish our polls every single week, and we would love to hear your thoughts on every single poll that we publish. Feedback is always crucial with our podcast. So if you have any
Mhm.
feedback with that, please it is obviously let us know on that. And it's important to let us know your thoughts on this podcast in general. And with
Yo.
that, bro, let us begin today's episode. We have obviously Monaco to talk about, and we don't really have. I don't think we're gonna have a lot to talk about this weekend because Monaco
Not
it
much.
is it is a
Again, as
listen
usual.
Monaco. It is a crown jewel. It is considered one of the crown jewels of the Formula One calendar. It's been taking place every single year since the sport has ever started. But bro, compared to the other tracks, this is also one of the most frustrating tracks
Because
of the
it's all
entire
about
calendar.
qualifying. It's all about qualifying here.
Exactly, guys.
It's all quali.
Qualifying will make or break a driver's performance for this Grand Prix. I want to say this, bro, before we begin. Compared to last year, we had a better weekend, but that ain't saying much because
Not much. Not
again,
much.
very uneventful.
Unfortunately, that is. A few things happened, a few
Yeah,
things, but nah.
not really, bro.
Very little.
Bro, I want to know your thoughts on the track, bro. For me, listen, it's an iconic track, but at the same time, as a race in general, it's also one of the most boring tracks out there, bro. What do you think?
Look, the Principality, yeah, the home of the rich and the famous, all the stars come out, all that. It is a crown jewel, just like you said. It is a narrow circuit. It's all about skill and technique on the track. And the best driver with the best car prevails. I mean, I sound like Michael Owen there, but whatever. I like it. I like it. It's a fancy track. It's a nice track. It's in a nice location. All that. It's prestigious. It is historic. But I don't know if we're gonna have a debate on it later on in the episode. I want to keep it brief for now.
Yeah,
I want to keep it brief for now. It's all right. I'll keep it brief for
Yeah.
now. I'll just keep it brief. We'll have
Yeah,
a debate on it later on. We'll have a debate on it.
yeah. The debate we'll get to that later on in this episode, guys. So we're gonna jump straight into the action. We're gonna start with qualifying, and then we'll head ourselves into the race. Now, bro, just like last year and just like many other years, qualifying was more eventful than the race. Let's be honest here. Let's
It
be
was,
honest
it
now,
was, it
because
was,
obviously,
as usual.
because as I mentioned, guys, qualifying is going to make or break the entire weekend for every single driver out there. So we're gonna start with Q1. Now, a lot of drama actually happened at the end of Q1, bro, because with regards to got knocked out, not many two surprises. However, at the end of Q1, Kimi Raikkonen went off the track. Now, the good news is that he actually made it out of Q1, but the bad news was that ruled him out completely out of Q2 because, and unfortunately, it was just an individual error from Kimi from Antonelli himself. He just went off the chicane and he basically got himself he just got himself into the wall basically, and he was out of qualifying all through. Now, bro, you could say this is a rookie mistake, but at the same time, if we're gonna mention rookie mistakes, I think the same is gonna apply to every single other rookie on the track. He's now in the championship, and he cannot afford to make those mistakes because last weekend he had a weekend to forget,
Shit
and
happens,
also
man.
this weekend as well, bro. What do you think?
Shit happens, bro. Shit happens. That is a tricky corner, the Nouvelle chicane, where he crashed out.
Yeah, it is.
And there were many accidents that happened there over the years where the rear left just touches the barrier going into the chicane, going into the left, right, left. Is it left, right, left?
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Left,
Left,
right,
right,
left. Yeah.
left, right, left. So it is a pretty tricky chicane. You'd expect someone like Kimi Antonelli or any F1 driver in general to just make that chicane without an issue, but it could be just a lapse in concentration. That's what it could be.
Could be.
Because listen, Monaco is so narrow that one teeny tiny mistake and you're gone, bro. But that's why it's all about
Exactly.
skill and technique. And it happens, shit happens. Listen, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. It has happened to
Listen,
the best of
and
drivers.
and listen, you can't afford to make, like you said, bro. You can't afford to make any because
Any
just
whatsoever.
one tiny misjudgment of the car, you've had it.
Done. Nah, you're done. You're done
You've
out
had it.
there.
No, bro. So for Antonelli, very unlucky. I wouldn't say very unlucky, but at the same. So just go back with this. I think with Antonelli, disappointing again, considering that he also had a poor weekend at his home soil last weekend. This wasn't really the type of reaction that a lot of people were expecting from Kimi as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and, we're, and we're gonna get to his teammate very very soon because Mercedes in general had a weekend to forget
They
both
had
from
a
the
mare,
qualifying
man.
and also in the race. But in Q1, again, pretty expected. Franco Pinto in 20th, followed by Lance Stroll in 19th, Pierre Gasly in 18th, Oliver Bernard in 17th, and Gabriel Bortoletto in 16th.
What I was surprised with the Q1 exits is why both Alpines were on the medium compound
Yeah,
during that run.
I was actually surprised because
That was the only surprising factor of Q1. Other than that, I wasn't surprised. I don't know why. Because in Q2, majority of the grid they went on the mediums. Did they
yeah,
go way too early on the mediums?
I think
I think
so.
that's the case.
I think so. I think
Because
so. I think I,
the track still needed to ramp up a bit. I think they went a bit too early with the mediums, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but like you said, I think with Alpine, bro, I think just considering that there's just so much instability of behind the scenes at the moment, I think I kind of expected both drivers to not make it into Q2, specifically for Colapinto. So
Yeah.
yeah, for Colapinto, rough start so far in the Alpine. Same with Pierre Gasly. That he's gonna have far better days than what he performed in qualifying. Again, Lance Stroll, not much of a surprise that he got knocked out in Q1. Now, actually, Stroll, regardless of where he was going to end up in qualifying, he was still going to end up in the back of the grid because he was penalized one grid position for causing a collision during practice, and a further three places for impeding during qualifying. So not much of a surprise that he got knocked out at the first part of qualifying. And the same with Ollie Berman. His bad streak continues, unfortunately for him, because he finished 17th. but he was also penalized 10 places for
Yeah.
overtaking on their red flag. So regardless, he was gonna start at the back of the grid. So disappointing for Oli Berman. And Gabe Bortoletto, I would say he was unlucky because he was on a flying lap until that Kimi Antonelli incident happened. So I think if he would have, if there weren't any yellow flags, I think he would just scrape himself into Q2 by only just. What do you
Yeah.
think, bro?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Listen, both Stroll had a mare of a session, mare of a
Yeah,
weekend this past weekend in Monaco. He was doing mistakes
yeah,
left, right, and center. Hell, in free practice one, Leclerc just went straight on the behind paws of Lance Stroll because Stroll didn't see him coming. Around Casino
yeah.
Square, was it? Yeah, absolutely. Stroll was having a mare of a weekend, man, and he absolutely did have. As for Oli Behrman, I mean, the 10 plays good penalty. It is what it is. And Bortoletto, again, unlucky just like you said, man.
Yeah, yeah. All right, into Q2 now, bro. Q2, we just mentioned George Russell and even just Mercedes having a nightmare of a qualifying session. George Russell stopped halfway through the tunnel,
Car just went.
and the car and the engine just completely gave up. So that caused a red flag. And for Mercedes, bro, I don't know what the hell happened during this past weekend,
They
but
had an awful
a
weekend, man.
nightmare, an awful weekend in general because we're gonna when we get to the race very very soon. But with qualifying, bro, Antonelli hitting the wall and George Russell just stopping
And of
halfway
all
at the end of the
places,
qualifying too.
and of all places to have a bad qualifying, man. Of all places, Monaco.
Yeah, that pretty much meant we can go over in general
Yeah,
for them.
and listen, Mercedes felt like they had a proper chance at least a podium this race.
Yeah, which is
with
expected.
with both merges out in qualifying, Antonelli with crashing and Russell's car went off, chances were done for. Weekend gone in the gutter, and it's very unlucky, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
mean,
unlucky.
listen, 14th and 15th for Mercedes specifically. That is nowhere near where they want to be where they want to start basically for specifically
Yeah,
Monaco we're
absolutely.
talking
They felt
about.
like they
So
had a proper chance. Things happen, man.
yeah, but with regards to going on that of Q2, bro, there was one other surprise, and that was Yuki Tsunoda in 12th place. Behind him was Nico Hülkenberg with the Sauber in 13th, and Carlos Sainz in 11th, and obviously Kimi Antonelli since he crashed in Q1 that put himself in 15th place. But yeah, I think Carlos Sainz would be gutted that he didn't make that he got out qualified by both racing bulls. I think that would be the most disappointing thing for him. And also, I would say Williams in general. Again, Yuki Tsunoda just at the moment he's still struggling to find his place in the team so far. But honest, to be honest, but I'm not too surprised that he is struggling in that second Red Bull seat. And with Nico Hülkenberg with the Sauber, again, I think he did the best he could. But with that, not expecting any miracles with that Sauber. Any thoughts, bro?
Uh, no thoughts at all. I mean, Hulkenberg, P13 at the Sauber, very well done for him. Tsunoda, a bit disappointed. Sainz, at least, he did fare a bit better in the race, at least. So, on to Q3 we go.
Yeah. Yeah, Q3. Now, bro, the drama mostly happened at the end of Q3, but before we get into that drama, bro, we had Alex Albon in 10th, just slightly ahead of his teammate, Carlos Sainz. Yeah, I mean, another Q3 appearance for Williams and Alex Albon in general. He's continuing his superb start to the season. But I think I would say that they would be a little bit disappointed, Williams, because they got out qualified by one of the Aston Martins with Fernando Alonso in 7th place, with the two Racing Bulls, with Liam Lawson and Isaac Hadjar in 9th and 6th,
They had a
and
great
also
weekend,
and
Racing Bulls,
also
yeah.
yeah, for sure, and also the Haas of Esteban Ocon, bro, in 8th place. So
They needed that. They
considering
needed
how
that.
yeah, but before I get into that, bro, I think with Williams, because the start they've had so far this season, I think they would expect a little bit better than 10th place. But anyways, you can't get it right every single weekend, bro. It is what it is. But
Absolutely, it is what it is. I mean, it depends on the track as well. But I mean, some cars may suit other circuits rather than others, so it may play into that. It may play into that as well.
yeah, for
But
sure.
they shouldn't be too hard on themselves, Williams, for not getting a proper result just like they did prior this year already. They shouldn't
Yeah,
be
for
too
sure.
happy. They shouldn't be too. They shouldn't beat themselves up about it that much, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
for sure, for sure. We were speaking about racing bulls, bro. Before we get into Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso, ninth and sixth for Liam. That is easily their best qualifying performance of the season so far. And as for Liam, listen, for Isaac Hajar, I'm not surprised because he is, as I said last week, he has gone under. He is, in my opinion, has gone under the radar with a lot of fans this season. But for Liam
Absolutely.
Lawson, easily his best performance of the year so far. We get into the race very, very soon with Lawson's performance. But in terms of qualifying, easily his best performance of the season so far,
Absolutely,
bro.
man. Absolutely. To have both racing bulls in Q3, very impressive, man. And Lawson also. Lawson, I mean, with Isaac Hadjar, we've been getting it quite a few this season with Q3 appearances and good race performances. But Liam Lawson, he showed up this weekend, man. He
Yeah,
really
for
showed up.
sure. It could be because it's Monaco. I think that could also be one of the reasons. But this was much much better from him,
Could be.
and that really reminded me a little bit of last season's loss of him last season at that team itself. Bro, Esteban Ocon for me, he is silencing a lot of his critics this season for me.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people, just including myself, we really thought that he was gonna struggle with that Haas, but so far that's not the case, bro.
It seems like he's been the lead Haas, actually. That's what
More
it
than
seems
but
like.
more than Oli Behrman, to be honest.
And listen, Ollie Behrman, he's still young. Ocon is much more experienced than Ollie Behrman. Let's keep it a
Yeah,
buck now. But Ocon, it's like he has this new breed of life with Haas. He
for
needed it.
sure.
I mean, with toxic stints at Racing Point and at Alpine.
Yeah,
So they were pretty toxic, let's be honest now. And
yeah,
this is exactly what he needed, a fresh start, a new breed of life.
yeah.
And so far, it's paying dividends for him. Thank God, at least.
Yeah, and his race, bro, turned out to be exactly the same as qualifying. But before we get into the race, bro, that top five, it was going back and forth. There was one point there was either Oscar Piastri was on pole
It could have been
position.
anyone.
It could have been Verstappen, it could have been Leclerc, it also could have been Hamilton, to be fair. But in the end, bro, it was Lando Norris who got pole position with a
Very good, yep.
1 minute, not 109.9. That is a track record for Monaco in general. For which number one, that is absolutely brilliant for Lando Norris, and secondly, that is some way to silence a lot of your critics, bro, with that performance.
Absolutely. Listen, he needed that Lando Norris. He was being outshined by Oscar Piastri, barring Australia. He was
Yeah,
Oscar Piastri was outshining Norris every race, so he needed to come back. He needed to come back. And listen, what
yeah.
way to do it than at the Principality? Hats off to Lando Norris. Leclerc, he was good. I mean, he was great. Charles
He
Leclerc.
was
Sorry, he
he,
was
he
great.
was unlucky. He was unlucky more like, bro. I mean,
He
rather
was
than
great.
good.
Listen, no, he was great. He was great because, yes, listen, I'm not saying this. I really don't care about practice, but practice he was pole. He came P1 in practice one, practice two, and practice three.
No
That
three
don't
practice
mean a damn
sessions.
thing. That don't mean anything because it's where qualifying is at. Qualifying and most importantly the race. He looked pretty decent, but I always had a gut feeling that McLaren are gonna come out swinging. I always
But
had that feeling.
just has the edge at the moment.
I had that feeling. As soon as I saw Leclerc going P1 on the timesheets in Q3, I wasn't celebrating then. Because I know that either McLaren was going to come out swinging and take the top spot, and it happened to be Lando Norris. And listen, fair play
Pretty
to
fair
Lando
point.
Norris. He needed that. Absolutely needed that. Because he's been outshone by Oscar Piastri and what way to do it and where to do it as well.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I think just same thoughts with Leclerc, bro. He was very very close of repeating last season's heroics in qualifying the race. Same goes with the race as well. But as you said, bro, that McLaren just has the better edge at the moment over every single car out there, just including Ferrari as well. Lando's teammate Oscar Piastri in third place, just a couple of seconds behind Leclerc, finishing in third. Lewis Hamilton in fourth with a 110.382. And in my opinion, I think who I think should be a bit disappointed, Max Verstappen in fifth, and he finished a little bit behind those Ferraris, bro, which I think a lot of people thought it was going to be the other way around. So I
Yes.
think Verstappen expected far better than a fifth place finish, I think.
Yeah,
But with
yeah,
Ferrari, bro,
absolutely.
Hamilton, impressive for him in
It
P4.
was alright. It was alright. But listen, that P4 turned out to be in vain because he had a three-place grid penalty
Oh yeah, I
thanks
forgot.
thanks to Adami error again. He was telling Hamilton that Verstappen was coming in behind him, pause, and that he was slowing down, but actually Verstappen was on a flying lap. And it kind of blocked Verstappen's way. He was impeding Verstappen.
Hmm.
Then, hence, he suffered a three-place grid penalty. Again, another Adami race engineer error. Listen, we'll get to it afterwards, but actually, I'm gonna say it right now. Adami and Hamilton, it ain't working, bro.
It's not
It ain't
working.
working.
No, no, bro. No, I think to the contrary of your state, to the contrary of your thoughts, a lot of people have said that it was a very harsh penalty. I think
Absolutely,
I
because it wasn't Hamilton's fault.
yeah,
It wasn't Hamilton's fault. It was his race engineer's fault. How could Hamilton know what's going on behind him, apart from seeing
yeah,
from his mirrors? That's what it was bullshit, but
yeah,
I
exactly.
understood it. It was bullshit, but I understood
I
it. It
think
was
honestly, bro. I think I kind of saw it coming as well when he was under investigation.
of course, I
I
saw
think
it coming
I
too.
think it looked
Probably,
very very
probably,
obvious.
probably even Stephen Wonder could have seen it coming. So I wasn't
Dude,
surprised.
that's fucking ridiculous.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. It probably even
Yeah,
Stephen Wonder saw it coming. So I wasn't surprised that he got a three-place grid penalty. But whatever.
no, but I think, bro, before we get into the race, it just shows how superb qualifying in Monaco is. Basically,
Absolutely.
it's basically the height of the entire it's the height of the entire weekend, bro. Because if we get into the race now, which is exactly what we're talking about now, we're talking about the race. Complete opposite, bro. I think
As usual.
unfortunately you kind of it was exactly as I thought it was gonna be. Was it better than last season? Yes,
Kind of.
but that ain't saying much. You want to give your thoughts on the race, bro, before we get into that debate?
I mean, listen, not much. I mean, this year FIA made the decision to make the race a mandatory two pit stops to make it a bit more interesting. Now, what happened in the race was Gasly, I don't remember which lap it was, but he lost his brakes and went into the back paws of Yuki Tsunoda going into the Nouvelle chicane. His brakes stopped. I thought that was going to be a safety car, but it was just a virtual safety car. Gasly very unlucky with that. Other than that, Russell was complaining with Albon that he was stepping on the brakes. Verstappen was thinking outside the box, which made the last bit of the race a bit more interesting because he made
Played
just
for
only one
Duchess at
stop
some
prior to
point.
that. Listen, at the end of the race, everyone made their two stops. Verstappen was still on a one stop. He was waiting for a safety car or a red flag, or the most a red flag, so he can change his tires then. But red
Didn't
flag
happen.
at most. He was thinking outside the box, which brought in Norris, Leclerc, and Piastri back into play close to each other thanks to him.
He played for Duchess basically, bro.
Listen, it didn't happen, but that's outside the box thinking. I appreciate that from Max Verstappen. That was very well. That was very because listen, if he had pulled it off, if there was a red flag,
Yeah.
he would have fooled everyone. He could just retire from the sport then and there. Let's be real now.
But listen, bro, I don't think he had a chance of winning the race either because Monaco was
Listen, no, no,
such
no, 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 no.
because
Listen,
overtaking it has so much. Sorry.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying. Imagine he was still in first, yeah,
Yeah,
with Norris, Leclerc, and Piastri behind him. Imagine there was a red flag. The race would stop. They would restart the race. He could change his tires in the pits, and
yeah.
he could start in first. And off he goes on way fresher tires. If he
Could
pulled
have
that
been.
off, if there was a red flag, he could have retired then and there. He was like, I'm done with the sport. I got nothing left to prove to y'all.
That's
I
the
outsmarted all of you.
that's very unrealistic though, bro. Let's be honest now. So
But there was a chance that could happen. There was a chance. If there was a red flag,
yeah,
that could have happened easily.
yeah, for sure.
So I absolutely appreciate Verstappen. It didn't happen, true, because then
No,
he pitted in lap 77. But and then he went back into fourth basically where he started the race.
Yeah.
which then Norris, Leclerc, and Piastri finished first, second, and third. But it didn't happen. But if it did happen, he could have just retired then and there.
Yeah, for sure. Other than that, bro,
That's all. That's it.
that's all. That's all she wrote.
Norris had a great race. Leclerc had a great race. Piastri, Hamilton as well. He made up 2 places from seventh to fifth, at least.
Yeah.
At least great stops by the Ferrari crew. Again, probably the biggest shining light in this pretty dim season for us. But again, a podium for Leclerc is a home podium at least. Other than that, both Racing Bulls scoring points with Hajar sixth and Liam Lawson in eighth. Esteban
Esteban
Ocon
Ocon as well.
making up a place. Practically, Hajar stayed where he was at. Ocon made up a place. Lawson made up a place, and Albon and Williams rounding
The
off
two
the top
Williams
10.
also. And that was because of Fernando Alonso, bro, because he went off the track and that basically
I
caused him to
forgot.
retire from the race.
I
And bro,
forgot.
what a
I was probably taking the shower when Alonso retired.
yeah, bro, this dude is cursed, bro. He's having a nightmare of a season and a half. I mean, he's making the 2015 season when he was with McLaren look like peanuts compared to this, bro.
Bro,
And
back to
you
he
you
was.
you've got to feel for him. You've got to feel for him, bro.
I don't think he scored points yet. Did he score points yet? I don't
No, he
think so.
hasn't. No, he hasn't this season. He
Bro,
hasn't scored points.
2 races in. That's 2 races in where he hasn't scored a single point.
2 races in. That's like 6 races now, bro.
But sorry, that's 2 races in a row now where he had chance to score points and he didn't.
And that's like his third or fourth DNF of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me
Yeah,
if
bro.
I'm not doing the maths correctly at the moment, but that's another DNF for this season. And you could blame the car for that, but at the same time, he's just rotten on the luck side, bro, at the moment.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. With very unlucky in Imola last week, and now this week in Monaco as well.
And
What a
even
feel
for
for
and,
Alonso,
and,
bro.
and
What
and
a feel
even
for him.
Pierre Gasly is having a nightmare of a season as well, bro. And even Pierre Gasly as well,
Yeah,
because he had that collision, of course, on lap 9. He had significant damage on,
not
on,
his
on,
fault.
on the front right tire, which
At
which
least,
obviously
at
had no
least,
choice but to retire.
at least he hit the right rear tire of Yuki Tsunoda. So at least he had the sense to not just go fully to the back paws of Yuki Tsunoda's rear wing,
Yeah.
and at least it didn't compromise Yuki Tsunoda's race. But Gasly's brakes, they just went. The
And
car
even
had to be
Bortletto,
stopped.
yeah,
The car had to be stopped in the pits, and they had and
yeah,
mechanics
for
had to stop
sure.
it for him.
And also, bro, Bortletto nearly retired as well on the opening lap of the race because he ended up hitting straight. He ended up basically was about to do an overtake, and he ended himself up in the walls basically. But at least he managed to reverse his car, and no safety cars taking place.
Other than that,
Another uneventful race, bro. And I think this is the right time, bro, to talk about the age-old question because
yeah,
there was a lot of criticism online, and it happened last season. It happened in the past couple of seasons, to be fair, as well. And there's a lot of pressure for a lot of people, and most of them have also been fans and even pundits as well, that the Monaco Grand Prix altogether should be taken off the calendar. Now, before I get to your thoughts, bro, the question is this: should Monaco be taken off the F1 calendar completely? My thoughts is that it's I ain't s- I don't think it's gonna I'm not I don't think it's gonna happen because it is a prestigious track. It is like as you said, the crown jewel of one of the crown jewels of the Formula One calendar. But to be completely honest, bro, and to be completely realistic on this, my point is that the overtaking in this track is either extremely limited or almost non-existent, nearly non-existent, more like. It is very narrow. As we said before, qualifying is going to make or break your performance, is going to make or break your entire weekend. And the race in general, 78 laps, it is literally just a procession. It's just 20 cars going, that's it, basically.
zoom, zoom, zoom behind each other like in
That's the
Thomas and
honest
Friends.
it's exactly that's the honest truth. Like, okay, we've had sorry to interrupt, bro. Okay, like we've had a few overtakes in the first half of the race. We had a couple of retirements, unlike last season. But that ain't saying much as well, bro, because the race was very, very uneventful.
As
Like
usual.
as per usual, the top 10, bar Alonso, hardly any changes whatsoever. It's just a very boring track. Now, my take on this is that I can't see it happening that it would be taken off the track completely. I, for me, if I would have taken off the track, I would present the opportunity of making it as a sprint race. But at the same time, I can't see a sprint race working as well in the long run as well because you're gonna get pretty much the same outcome. Just it won't be as long as the race.
Half the
What do you think,
laps.
bro?
It would be
You
half
take
the
half the
laps.
laps. Your thoughts, bro? What do you think about this?
Listen, I have never. I don't think I never said like for it to be completely removed. But what I'm gonna say is that I'm on the fence with it. Is it going to be removed? No, it won't be removed
Just
because
can't see it happening.
because let's be honest, the FIA are not gonna see it because they're gonna say that it's prestigious and it's historic. When in reality, the only reason they're not gonna remove it is because of the moolah.
Money, money.
As per usual, it is a historic track. It is prestigious, but I've noticed a problem with this track. It's not the track itself that's the problem. It's the cars on it. It's the cars on the track. Why
Hmm.
do I say this? Because this track with modern cars since 2018 has struggled. They're so wide, you can't overtake, bro. The only
It's
place where
non-existent, bro.
you can't overtake with the modern cars. And here's where I'm on the fence with it. Where hopefully we're gonna have the new regulations, and we're gonna make the cars a bit smaller. Could
That's what they're telling us at the moment.
at
But
least
honestly, it could change.
listen, they could turn out to be wide body Mercedes Benzes, bro, Maybachs and shit. Don't know for it. We don't know, but
We could
I
get
think
any
that
design at this point, guys. But fuck it, anyways.
um, what was I saying, man? I forgot. Okay, we're gonna have new regulations next year, are gonna make the cars smaller, which could mean overtaking could be a bit more easier. The DRS in the start finish straight is as useless as a white crayon on this track. Let's be real now.
Yeah, yeah, it
It is
is.
as useless as a white crayon. So I don't know. I want to give it till next year and see how it goes with the smaller cars. Maybe it could be a bit more interesting then. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe the weather as well, bro. The weather
Yes,
could make a difference,
I
but
forgot to
again,
mention. I
if we're
forgot
gonna
to
have
mention.
like the rain could make a bit of a difference, but again, considering that every time heavy torrential rain, we get pretty much half the race behind the safety car or it gets red
Yeah,
flagged. I ain't gonna get my hopes high on that either as well.
absolutely.
So
Because you see other tracks, they're not gonna have a full blown race in the rain with the wets. The
no, no,
wets,
absolutely
the
not.
wets, the wets are absolutely useless, bro.
Useless.
What
No,
a
yeah,
useless
they are.
compound. Absolutely useless compound.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. At the moment, drama on Saturday, snooze fest on Sunday. Listen, Max
But
Verstappen with his sarcastic comment said it best. He was on the edge of his seat.
yeah,
He said it best. I mean, I don't know.
I
I'm on
don't
the
think
fence.
I don't think the fans deserve this as well, bro. Because again, Monaco is a prestigious track. It's probably venue wise, it's probably like the prettiest track of the entire calendar. But
Absolutely.
as a race in general, it's becoming worse every single year. Now to be fair, compared to last season, it was better, but it was still a very boring race, bro. A very uneventful race, and 78 laps as well, bro. It's far too long as well for a track like that as well.
Yeah, but the reason why it's that long is because of the lap times.
Yeah, the lap times are very quick. Yeah,
That's why.
I had an idea, but
It is a spectacle. Listen, I remember my first race. The first time I ever saw Formula One was seeing Michael Schumacher's Ferrari going around the streets of Monaco, and I was in awe. I was
yeah,
very amazed. I loved it, and I still do. I believe it's a great track,
yeah.
but it's a great spectacle. I should say, sorry, it's a great spectacle. As a racetrack, I'm on the fence, bro.
But listen,
It
if
doesn't
you're
work with these modern cars. They
li-
really don't.
yeah, but listen. On one side, as you said, if you're there, if you have the money to afford to go there, by the way, because the
Listen,
prices in
you you
Monaco are
you
absolutely
remember
staggering.
you remember Martina when she was trying to find out?
About the food prices, yeah, I remember
Food
that.
prices and accommodation, it was about 3K a stay, bro.
Yeah,
In a
yeah.
one-bedroom
No,
apartment.
yeah, exactly. So if you afford to go to Monaco to watch the race live, you're gonna be in awe seeing 20 Formula One cars driving on the streets of Monaco. You
Especially
have to.
especially if
You
you
have
have a
to.
yacht, man. Especially if you have a yacht.
And
If you have a
especially
yacht,
if there's and especially bro, if there are like the vintage Formula One cars of the track, because I think even this weekend there was Schumacher's Ferrari ma- doing it basically was
I
making
didn't catch that.
I'm making a lap. So
I didn't
sorry,
catch that.
because if I'm not mistaken, last weekend as well
No, no,
there
no,
was
no. I didn't catch that there was Michael Schumacher's Ferrari going around on track. That I didn't catch. I heard that.
yeah, yeah. Okay, no worries about that. But
Don't worry.
listen, you're gonna be in awe seeing 20 Formula One cars on the track driving the streets of Monaco. But at the same time, those designs are making the track even worse, bro. Because as I said, the overtaking in this track is extremely limited to near non-existent. I think you're the only opportunities where you can make a turn are in the first corner and just outside the tunnel. I think that's pretty much it with regards to overtaking.
Pretty much. Maybe in Casino Square.
That's
Maybe
it.
at best.
Yeah.
And barely, bro. Barely.
So yeah, listen, I don't blame anyone saying that it should be removed, that the track should be removed off
No,
the calendar.
we
But the
see where you're
same, but
coming
at
from.
the
We see.
I can see their points, but at the same time, I just can't see it happening, bro, because of the money, of course, because of the money,
That's one
and
of the main
because
reasons.
of the traditions that it has had over the years, bro. So I just can't see it happening that this track gets removed off the calendar. But
I'm gonna end it
anyways,
with this. I'm gonna end it with
yeah.
this. I want to see how it goes next year with the new regulations. I want to see how it goes next year.
Don't get your hopes up that high, bro,
I don't.
with
No,
new
no.
regulations, bro.
My
But
expectations are very low on it, but I will still want to see. Let's see how it goes. That's all
but
I'm gonna end it
yeah,
there.
yeah, and yeah, exactly. Yeah, same here with that one. But anyways, bro, back to the race. Again, the top 10 hardly. I mean, with regards to the top five, only there was only one change between fifth and fourth, and with the rest, with Alonso's retirement, only one change. So. With Lando, listen, with McLaren, bro, another super weekend for both drivers, specifically Lando Norris, because this is a guy, bro.
Do you want to say he's been scapegoated?
He's been scapegoated. He's been scapegoated this season, and his expectations as well have been the opposite, as many have been stating, bro. Because we all thought that this was going to be Lando's year, and
He
so
said it
far
himself.
it's been, yes, he said it himself, obviously,
He said
and
himself.
instead it's been the opposite. It's been his teammate season so far, and largely bar Australia, he's been second best in pretty much every single weekend. But and this was the perfect way to respond, with both in qualifying, setting the track record, the fastest lap ever in the track in this entire Grand Prix, and with the race, bro, completely dominating the entire race. Now, obviously, as I said, qualifying is gonna his pole position pretty much was written in the stars that he was gonna win the race. But at the same time, bro, he completely swept the house with that performance
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
race. He was fully commanding all race. His strategies were right on the bullseye as well. And this, for me, was a way to mark your statement that, listen, I ain't out yet. I'm still in the running for the championship.
Listen, he was never out, to be honest. It's way too early for him to be out. I think Ferrari are out. I believe Ferrari are out of the championship.
But listen, bro. I think I expected Lando to, if he really wants to become a world champion, he had to obviously get more race wins, and he also had to perform much better both in qualifying and even in the race as well, because he was getting out qualified but outperformed by his teammates by some distance.
Listen, it's both McLarens against the Red Bull of Max Verstappen this year. And
Not the case this weekend, though, bro.
no, not the case at all this weekend. Verstappen, again, just like I previously mentioned, he tried to think outside the box, which I respect, I appreciate. It didn't work out, but yeah, Lando
Yeah,
Norris, listen, he commanded, just like Charles Leclerc did last year. And just like, who won in 2023? Who won it?
I think Verstappen won it in
Verstappen, just like
2022.
Verstappen. Listen, who starts first usually ends up
Wins.
usually wins.
Yeah.
So
I think
it's still
Oscar.
it's
Yeah.
still it's still prestigious to win in Monaco.
Yeah, I think with Oscar Piastri, bro, he wanted to get that second place spot, but Verstappen, obviously being Max as well,
Another
and
another attack he would have probably overtook Leclerc.
he did the overtake on him as well. So not gonna complain much with a third place finish. He's still on top of the driver's standings, bro. Ferrari, yes, they've had a poor season at the moment, but this has easily been your best weekend of the season so far, bro. Second and
It's been
fifth place.
it's been absolutely no complaints whatsoever. Absolutely no complaints. And even with the strategies, the pit stops, just like I mentioned again, they've been good, very well. My only gripe is the relationship between race engineer Ricardo
And
Adami and
driver,
Lewis Hamilton. And
yeah.
driver Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton crashed before qualifying, but it was alright. They got the car fixed. Well, shout out to the team, well done. But other than that, the relationship between Adami and Hamilton, bro. Some fans are saying to bring Peter Bonington, Hamilton's former race engineer, to Ferrari. I hope. I
Could be a
hope.
possibility. Could be a
I hope.
possibility.
Because listen, there's certain Italians, no hate towards the Italians, but certain Italians in that Italian team need to dip, bro. They need to dip.
Yeah, they
And
have
I'm
to.
not I'm not saying dip in themselves into marinara sauce. Like dip as in get out, leave, go. I don't care where they go.
I think I think they should remain. They should remain below the sea, bro. But anyhow, um,
I don't
uh,
know, man. But listen, it's been they didn't have a great start, and I believe Hamilton with a better race engineer, he could be a bit better.
yeah, for sure.
But listen, if my mother had a dick, she would be my father. So I'm not gonna go into that. It is
Yeah,
what it is.
I ain't gonna get to
P2
that
for
point
Leclerc,
as well.
P2 for Leclerc, P5 for Hamilton, made up 2 places back to back. I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, Verstappen, bro, very quickly. Fourth place again, gained 1 place
Great start.
from his qualifying position. But at the same time, not what I compared to last week where he won the race he won the race very very comfortably. He would be a little bit underwhelmed by that fourth place finish.
I don't think so.
Um,
I don't think so, but
yeah, bro, what a weekend for Racing Bulls and
absolutely,
for Racing Bulls. Sixth with Isaac Hadjar and eighth place with Liam Loss with Esteban Ocon in between them.
absolutely. Sandwiched. Pause. Pitied.
I want to switch. I want to use a different word than sandwich, bro. But anyhow, no, bro. But Racing Bulls, really, easily their best weekend of the season so far,
Both Racing
and
Bulls in points.
but most of them, specifically Liam Lawson, bro, much needed for him.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Lawson was brilliant all weekend long, thankfully.
And bro, equally impressive as well as Esteban Ocon, seventh place with the Haas, and he had a very smooth race in general, bro.
Very, very good.
No mistakes whatsoever. Very smooth race and a very well deserved seventh place for him, bro. What do
Yeah,
you think?
absolutely. Absolutely, man. Ocon. And they needed this, us. With back to back poor weekends, they needed this. So, very happy for
Yeah,
Ocon, just like we already mentioned.
yeah, for sure. And both Williams drivers, bro, rounding up the top 10, backlapped by 2 laps, but still in the points. Alex Albon in ninth and Carlos Sainz in tenth place. Driver of the day, bro.
I'm going to
This
go
could.
Norris. I'm going to go Norris.
I think I'm gonna go for Lando Norris as well, bro. I think that is
Norris.
that is for me that's the
Norris.
perfect way. That's the perfect way to respond to your critics in some style.
Norris.
Complete a track record in qualifying and a largely comfortable performance in the race. You could give it to Racing Bulls, and you could also give it to Ferrari, to be fair, bro. But Lando had
I'm gonna go Norris. I'm gonna go
yeah,
Norris.
same here, Lando Norris. Losers of the day, Mercedes, bro,
Yeah,
without any
absolutely.
question. But
That
I don't know,
qualifying compromised everything for them,
I
unfortunately.
don't know what went wrong, bro, with them this weekend. It was just a bad, it was just a bad day in the office as well. How questionable was their race strategy as well, bro?
Absolutely, it was pretty questionable. They tried to take a different approach to make it maybe make up some places, but again,
Yeah,
that two stop mandatory pit stop, it didn't work. It didn't
and
work.
yeah, and bro, speaking of that mandatory two pit stop strategy didn't work. I'm also gonna throw in the entire race in general as the loser of the week, bro, because it was such a boring race. that you could pull off any gimmick whatsoever, and we would still have a boring race in general. So the losers of the day are Mercedes, but a good shout has to be the race in general, bro, because
Yeah,
it was such an uneventful race yet again,
that's
bro.
no sweat.
I ain't gonna complain because my team won and we scored big points for both drivers and the constructor standings. But let's be honest, bro. The race in general, boring as fuck.
Absolutely, as per usual. Unfortunately, hopefully,
Dick of
hope
the day.
Dick of the day. Who is Dick of the day? Is it Verstappen with his sarcastic comment? Nah.
You could give it that. I
I'm
think.
a I'm gonna go Adami, bro, for screwing Lewis
No,
Hamilton
I have
over.
no pick. I have no picks to be
I'm gonna
honest.
go Adami. Fuck him, man. Fuck Adami.
Yeah. And clown of the day, bro, is George Russell because he
Yeah.
channeled Jose Mourinho.
Oh
He
my
channeled his Jose
god.
Mourinho vibes, and that completely came out of nowhere. And I think he unintentionally is watching a lot of Jose Mourinho videos, bro, at the moment because
Oh my
I
days.
did not expect that whatsoever.
Listen, apparently he was having a problem with Alex Albon. He was
Yeah,
having a problem with Alex Albon because Albon was slamming on the brakes, and both Mercedeses overtook him at the Nouvelle chicane, but then he gave the place back because they wanted to retaliate how Alex Albon was
but he
driving.
got a drive
But it
through
didn't work
penalty as
out.
well. He got a drive through penalty, if I'm
Yeah,
not
he got a
mistaken,
drive through
as well.
penalty. Yeah, and then he said that he'd rather take the penalty.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty much it. Short and sweet,
Yeah,
bro.
absolutely.
Pretty much it. So, our top 10 looks something like this. Both McLarens remain on top with Oscar Piastri in first with 161 points, with Lando Norris just 3 points behind with 158 points. So that drivers' championship is looking very
Three
spicy at the
points.
moment.
3 points.
Um, Max Verstappen in third with 136 points. George Russell remains in fourth with 99 points. Same goes with the two Ferraris, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, with 79 and 63 points respectively. Kimi Antonelli remains in seventh with 48 points. Alex Albin in eighth with 42 points, and Esteban Ocon in ninth with 20 points. And Isaac Hadjar moves up just a couple of places in 10th with 15 points. The constructor standings, McLaren remain on top, and the gap just gets bigger and bigger and bigger between them and Mercedes. McLaren with 319 points, Mercedes in second with 147 points. The third and fourth, bro, and even Mercedes as well, looking very close between
Yeah.
one another. Mercedes with 143 points, and Ferrari with that second and fifth place finishes with 142 points, just behind in fourth. Williams in fifth with 54 points. Haas in sixth with 20. Racing Bulls with that double top 10 place remain in seventh place, they have scored some pretty big points in the back with 22 points. Aston Martin in eighth with 14 points. And Alpine and Sauber remain in ninth and 10th with 7 and 6 points respectively. All right, guys, that is it. That is the end of this episode. Very short
All in under
compared to the
one
rest of
hour.
the week. All under
All
1 hour. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to see more of this content, guys, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Our next, and also Instagram, forgot to mention. Our next episode is in today week's time on the eve of my 27th birthday because we will be heading into Catalonia in Spain for our last race of this European triple header weekend. Hopefully
it will be. It will
it's
be better. It will be better.
hopefully it will be better because
Even
after this,
though usually Spain, Catalonia ain't the most interesting of races, but it will be better. It will be better.
hopefully, let's hope so, bro. Let's hope so, bro, because we don't want another weekend,
Absolutely. No, none of us
like
do.
in Monaco, for
None of
sure,
us do. None of us do, man. Trust
for
trust me
sure.
on that.
All right, guys, and with that, we're gonna sign off, and we'll see you for the next one. Peace out.
Deuce.